Like sure, they'll figure it out. I don't think it's. That's the big small strength, but no, it's fine. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's small, too loud. Good. I think it's great. Well.
I did go to see my yesterday.
Which would be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It's. Years ago, they never told me. I was so jealous that people said,
Sure.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's West Gothbridge Select Board Hybrid Special Meeting. This is an open meeting. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive the permission of the chair. Listings of agenda items or those reasonably anticipated by the chair may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Our first agenda item this evening is citizen speak time. This is an opportunity for the select board to listen to residents. Topics of particular concern or importance may be placed on a future agenda for discussion. This time is reserved for town residents only, unless otherwise permitted by the chair, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any citizen speak this evening? Online. All right, we'll move on to the main point of business this evening, which is a continuation of the public hearing for Baldwin Farm Bistro liquor license. The chair will first recognize Earl Moffett, your role as health agent, correct?
Correct.
All right. Earl?
Marie asked me to stop in tonight. Just go over a couple of things. Baldwin Farm LLC currently has 2 licenses from the Board of Health. One for food service, which was intended for their store where they're selling their products, and also a mobile vendor's license, which is intended for use of their mobile trailer, food trailer unit. Neither of which we are involved with any sort of alcohol licensing with, obviously it's not our jurisdiction. But the question that arises in my mind is how the operation can be permitted in the zoning restrictions that are in place where it's located. And I had it just because it's located, as far as I can see in our zoning bylaws, items 16 or 17 in principal use, table 4.11, a restaurant, except for fast food eating establishments, is not allowed in any residential zone, R1, RD, or R3. And then more specifically, a fast food eating establishment, which is basically what this trailer is not allowed in any zone. So I guess my question is how this restaurant activity gets permitted in the zoning, under the zoning regulations. And you know, a mobile vendor, concept of a mobile vendor is to have a place of certified food preparation, then gets transported to another location, or has a certified food preparation equipment and operation within the mobile unit, which then can be transported to whatever location. So typically, the mobile vendor license in West Stockbridge would fall into, we have 4 or 5. We actually have 2 two trailers similar to Baldwin Farms licensed, and then we have a couple people that operate a food truck or trailer where they prepare the food in a off-site location, and I have to get certification from wherever town that's located in, that they have a license to prepare food. And then that gets transported to wherever they have to go. So that's my input. And I guess it boils down to, as far as this hearing goes, how they're allowed to operate as they are, which is now what I see of basically a restaurant in the zoning where they are operating. I discussed this last Friday, I think, with Brian DeWall, but no, we got on the subject. And he said, well, I issued them an order a couple of years ago and they appealed it to the zoning board of appeals and was overturned. I have no record of that, or no recollection of that. So I was going to contact Ronnie to see what that was all about. Now, today, Ray says that he responded that he doesn't see any problem with liquor being served there, so there's some sort of contradiction there as well.
All right,
So that's my 2 cents worth.
thank you, Earl.
Any questions?
Kathleen?
No. All right,
Thanks, Earl.
thank you.
Thank you, Earl,
Hey.
for staying.
Yep.
Oh, so, we did not hear directly from Mr. Duvall, the zoning enforcement officer.
Yes, he sent an email that I forwarded you
Oh, okay.
that said he saw nothing in the bylaws that doesn't permit them to have a liquor license on that property,
Okay.
either way.
With that, I am going to close public testimony and move on to deliberation. Andy?
No.
No deliberation?
Wait.
I'd like to speak, if I could.
Oh, this is a continuation. I only continued it so I could have zoning. We're not taking more testimony. This is the 3rd night that we've had this open.
Well, you still have an ongoing investigation that isn't concluded. And I think you ought to wait until you find out the results of that investigation, particularly as to whether or not representations that have been made to this board in connection with this application have been correct, and whether or not there's been misrepresentation made to the board about the fire and what happened and how it happened. That would be very important for the board to consider.
Kathleen?
I believe that we've had some consult with town council about that. And the consideration is that they're really 2 separate issues, other than if we were to look at the incident around the fire incident, that you would consider it if it spoke to the character or the reputation of the owner of the property. And so in light of that, otherwise, it seems that from town council's standpoint, the 2 issues are not to be conflated. That's my understanding of it.
I read it as well. That's the way I interpreted it, yes. 2 separate issues.
And we have heard, sorry, just throw this in here, but we have heard from the chief, who has gone to the farm, and they've passed all fire inspection issues around the food trailer, other than I think a couple of minor things that were to be corrected before the food operation actually opened up. And the fire incident has been referred up the chain to, I believe, the fire marshals and state police and the EPA. And so the issues of what was being burned would be determined, and whether that was a violation would be determined at a later date. And whatever the EPA determined would be, if there was, I don't know if guilt is the right word, but if there was something that was incorrect in the process, would result in perhaps a fine. So it seemed to me that from our fire chief's standpoint, the farm specific to the food truck is in good standing.
So, what I'm thinking is, in terms of deliberation, we certainly have it within, as a board, any permit that this board might issue can be conditional. Based on, well, my colleagues. I was wondering if you had any thoughts around what it might look like?
I do, right, perfect.
No, please.
If we were to issue a permit allowing Baldwin Farm, I would like to have a stipulation or an addendum as to the serving hours, that the maximum, the maximum hours that it can be open is 9 o'clock. And that's how late that they can serve the liquor, or at closing. So if closing is at 6, they can't serve till 9. So I want to make that part of the stipulation, as far as if we were to offer and give and lend a permit to Baldwin Farm.
Yeah, I concur with Andy Kraus. I would like to, I do think we should establish what those hours are and not leave it open-ended. I think that we, so that we can, the hours of serving food are specific to the hours that liquor would also be served. I think that also offering at this point beer and wine only and not hard alcohol would not be an unreasonable thing. And I also think that a condition of serving any type of alcohol at all, or beer and wine, with food and not as just a standalone. I don't think that anyone, this has been represented as being something that would be enjoyed while someone has their meal, a glass of wine or a beer, while they eat their food. And I don't think that anyone would want to see it be a stopover for a few drinks on the way home. It's not a bar. It's to be, whatever is consumed there is to be consumed with food. So those would be the three things that I was thinking about. And you know, again, we're talking about, at this point, a seasonal operation. And I think is normally our liquor licenses are done in December, correct?
Renewals are in December, yes.
Yeah. So those would be the three things that I thought would be reasonable considerations.
Okay. Would you like to form that into a motion, Kathleen?
Well, could we establish what the food serving hours are?
Andy,
It may have been in the application and I missed it. I'm sorry if I did miss something. Maybe we could ask, it's hard for me to know who's in the audience. I can't see, but could we ask Toby or the Baldwin Farm people?
9 would be the latest that we're opening, and that's at that's not what the application says.
Well, we're putting conditions here, council.
I think the question is what the application says.
The good question is what conditions, so we're happy to meet that condition.
So serving from lunch until,
Yeah, we open at 11 to 9.
11 AM to 9. And is there a, and again, I'm just trying to reconfirm so that we don't have any question at a later date, but is there a time frame in terms of an opening a date and a closing date? This is seasonal. I'm correct in that, right?
Oh, the application is for an annual license.
The application is for an annual license, but the operation of the food truck is seasonal.
We can put a condition on it.
So can we determine some dates? And I'm happy to hear from Baldwin Farm what their intentions are.
You go up there so she could see you. Is that all right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't need that. Or stuff. I just thought it would be easier for her.
No, absolutely.
We would have preferred to be open already. April would be normal timeframe to start. This year, we went all the way till February and then decided it wasn't worth it. We will probably truncate service somewhere in November, December timeframe, right between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So you're looking at opening up as soon as you can, say May 15th or June 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a normal year, we would have started before now. We would have started in April.
Okay, so because we're talking about this just this year, and it will terminate in December when licenses come around for renewal. So specifically for this year, if we put a date on it, could we say May 15th to January 1?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay,
May 15th isn't realistic because the ABCC has to act.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's
okay,
it would be from the date that the ABCC act. It could be in the middle of the summer or the end of the summer. I don't anticipate that the process will take us certainly.
So we'll
I
make-
imagine being approved by June.
We'll make the condition.
upon upon approval.
Upon approval. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So my motion will be a little bit lengthy, but so I would make a motion that we allow the serving of beer and wine only, no other. I suppose sparkling cider would be sort of fall into that category, but no hard liquor. To be consumed only with food and not as a standalone. From the time of approval from the state in any time after May 15th until January 1, and for the hours of 11 AM to 9 PM.
It's fine. I would just add one stipulation.
Motion.
Yeah,
She
well,
just made it. She made a
I
motion.
would second it, yeah, but I have one stipulation on that. If they're closing at 6, I want them to stop serving beer and wine at 6. If they determine they want to close at 6 o'clock one day, to stop serving wine at the time of closing.
I think that the condition that the beer, wine, or alcoholic cider only be consumed with alcohol sort of covers that. It's
Okay.
implicit.
Got it, thanks.
That covers it.
I second.
All right, any discussion?
No, I think we just had it.
All right. All in favor?
I am Kraus.
Aye, Kathleen Karacy.
I'm an aye. Thank you very much. We can conclude, and then we'll have select board Steve. Select board Steve.
I'm good right now, thank you.
Kathleen?
I don't have anything for select board speak.
All right, I have nothing either, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
you.